Hello, my name is Diamond Carter, and I will be presenting and speaking with you a little bit today about the HubSpot Academy's Excel for Marketers videos. So first, I would like to start by saying that the, the duration of this video is going to be about my opinionated viewpoints on Excel itself, and I'm going to dib and dab a little bit about HubSpot Academy's different videos as a whole. So for starters, my unpopular opinion about Excel is that it could be a little complex and it could be a little uncomfortable if you don't use it often. So if you're a first-time user of Excel, then you will know it to be a little, it's going to be a pretty difficult tool to use just for starters. This tool could also be overwhelming to some people. To myself, especially, it can be overwhelming because I don't use it often either. However, I've come to the conclusion that it is the best function for importing data. As a marketer, there is so much data to be accumulated before being able to produce the best tactic for a brand. There are many things to consider also, things such as demographics and geographics. So demographic and geographic data is pretty crucial in the buying process and the buying journey. And by that, I mean that you will have to be able to clean your data. So imagine going out as a marketer or marketing research individual, and you know that from the basics, you have to decide on the demographics, the geographics, your target market, etc. So you're gonna have to actually go out and get surveys taken by individuals so that you'll know who you are selling to. So in overall, your target market. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take that data from that research and you're going to need somewhere to import it to make it one file or one spreadsheet. So Excel is where Excel will come in handy for you. To move into some more complex information, I found in HubSpot Academy videos, you will need to first gather your data, import your data, and then from there you will have to edit everything in order to make it viewer friendly, if you will. So as I stated earlier on, Excel is not my favorite tool, but I mean, I can't get away from it because it is the most effective and the most helpful tool as a marketer, as a businesswoman, just in general in business. You really can't move forward from Excel. Name a few places that Excel could be used just to help you out. Would be schools, businesses like coffee shops, McDonald's, Walmart, Target. You would need data for basketball games, football games, sports, magazines, just any form of every type of business you can think of. They're going to use Excel to import data because they're trying to figure out who they're reaching out to. They're going to try to figure out where they're reaching out to. They're trying to see who's buying these magazines or this particular coffee or whatever the case may be. All of that boils down to this tool, Excel. Another example, have y'all seen the movie Hidden Figures? So I just want to kind of make it seen what I'm saying. So just to kind of do that, just think about how when they had to give all those calculations, all that data, all those numbers, they had to make it into something in order to identify the longitude, latitude, and all these other things to get the men on the moon and to get the spaceships into space and everything. So that's a good, I guess that's a good example of showing like how, and I'm pretty sure maybe Excel wasn't around then, but I'm pretty sure they use some sort of something that Excel implements as well to implement all that data into one. So the main goal, get the man in space, the small things, the numbers, the research they had to do. That's all. If they didn't have Excel then, that could have helped a lot, basically. Another really good example, Amazon. Amazon.com is another place where I'm positive Excel is used daily, if not multiple times a day. Simply because you have to think about who you're selling to. Once again, going back to that target market, because we do know all over the world, it's international, yes, but it's still certain categorized things that could be sold to a certain group of people, you know? So, I mean, think about it, like vegans, they might not want products that have animal-based things in them. So that's when you need those statistics and those numbers to know how do I get this group of people, these products into a generalized state. So going back to the Amazon scenario, it's also numbers, it's based off numbers how you even get these products to certain people. And the last example I'm going to bring up is Walmart. So let's think about how in certain areas, Walmart don't have the same. Okay, so in the South, Walmart is going to have different products than they're going to have in the North, in the northern states. So let's talk about South Florida. You know, Walmart close to the beach, they're not going to have auto repair centers. They're not going to have that because most people are looking for cameras, skateboards, swimsuits. They're not looking for tires and things of that nature. They're not looking for that. So just to kind of give you that visual on the geographic scenarios, because it is important as well, because you still have to get that data to know, even in that geographic area, what people are going for what items. So that's where Excel numbers and all that good imported data comes in. So just to start discussing some of that HubSpot Academy information, I do want to talk about pivot tables. So with those pivot tables, it gives you the option to make your data into tables, graphs, or even reports. So for those places where you're not too heavy on wording, like when you're trying to do a presentation or something for the board, you're not too heavy on the reports and they're getting bored with the reports. You want something more visual. So you might even go for a pie chart or a graph. You know, you might want to do the different colors and sections with just the basic, and not in a roundabout way, just get straight to the point and just hand that out to everybody. You know, that still is Excel. They're still trying to get that data came from somewhere. So it originated from Excel, but they're making it more visual now, making it more visually comfortable and appealing to those people who, like myself, I like color. I need something to jump out at me to get your point across. I'm not going to sit there and read a whole report and list it of all this different data. I want to see something. I want to see it where it's colorful, it's fun. You know, keep me awake during this interview. So pivot tables stood out to me the most because it pretty much is a one-stop shop for importing data. So you don't have to go to several other functions to import it or customize your data. This is it. So pivot tables allows you to customize that data and make it your own. And by that, I mean you can add color, you could make the columns as big or as small as if needed. Just do as you desire, you know. It also stood out to me how it does allow you to make that data into reports, graphs, tables. You don't have to stick to the standard spreadsheet. You can make it, you can customize it into any kind of table or graph, like I said. So with the other part of that HubSpot video, they led us right from the pivot tables into the conditional formatting. So the conditional formatting is just a branched off way of talking about the pivot tables. So this tool or this part of Excel, conditional formatting is basically how you're going to view your data. So is the text there? Is the text there? Is it appropriate? How are your dates added? And things of that nature. So it's kind of trying to make it easier for you to view the data that you've already imported. So if you categorized it by dates or certain text, it makes it easier for you to get back to it later if you wanted to go back and review it again. Now let's go ahead and move forward to charts. According to HubSpot, charts are more visual pleasing. It doesn't help summarize the data. So data not only has to look good, but it has to be informative. I agree with that and I disagree with that. Because for me specifically, I prefer something that's more nicer to look at than a bunch of words on a spreadsheet. I prefer to like look at a pie chart. You know, give me the percentage and tell me what it is. I don't need you to go into detail about how you got there, because that's the overall cohesiveness of it. I think that the chart, it pretty much summarizes all the data. It pretty much gives you that overview of all that data. and what that data concludes, what it comes, like what it just summarizes and comes out with. So I personally prefer the charts because it's not going in depth, but it's still giving you that overview. It's still telling you what you need to know, but it's not going into detail. So I personally disagree with that statement. However, I do agree with it does have to be informative. It does. You can't just hand out a bunch of charts to certain people who already don't understand what a presentation would be about. You still need to go into detail about what it means. So you still have to be informative, whether that's verbally or with the pie chart or the chart in general. So let's talk about dashboards. Dashboards, its main focus is about, let's just say for why am I not getting as many views? Why am I not getting as many subscriptions? This is pretty much, it's kind of like just visualizing those numbers in Excel where it matters. Like for YouTube content creators, this is where their payroll comes in handy. So the algorithms based off subscriptions, views, comments, likes, notifications, all these things all play a part, and they can find it in dashboards. So that's a perfect example of how that can be used as well. So to get that data into dashboards, you would have to download it from Google Analytics, and you would just add whatever you need to help you with your Excel spreadsheet. So that means if you need to add more columns, more rows, if you just need to edit it differently based off the Google Analytics point of view, this is where dashboard kind of comes in. So just to touch on what I said earlier about dashboards, this is also important because your data is coming from somewhere. So again, Google Analytics, Excel, create your dashboard. In conclusion, overall, I feel a little bit better about Excel, but once again, since I don't use it often, it's just not as user-friendly for me. And I'm talking about myself in general. It's just not one of those things that I just am excited to go into to start getting data, importing data, and all that good stuff. I mean, yes, it's important, but it's just not my favorite tool. And it's just me. It's just how I feel. But just to touch back on those different HubSpot videos, I can understand how it could be easier and how helpful it is, because the way I viewed those videos is that one thing led to the next thing and gave you a whole overall summary. So it's almost like starting with nothing on your Excel spreadsheet and just ending up with all this good data that is so organized and perfectly done. And that's how I viewed it. I feel like the pivot tables, that's where it starts, and then you go all the way up to your dashboard. So all of this kind of just, it makes it make sense. It's just not my favorite tool, but it definitely makes a lot of sense. And I can understand how, if you want to keep it organized and keep it, under wraps for the company and just keep everything easily accessed, it's a really great tool. And I like how HubSpot really just kind of, made that kind of section everything off that way and just showed you how this can lead up to the next step. And then the overall picture could be all this good data that you have in front of you. So yeah, I mean, for me, I learned a lot in the HubSpot Academy videos. I did. It changed my viewpoint a tad bit, but like I said, overall, I'm just not a huge fan of Excel. But on the flip side, as a businesswoman, I guess I am, because it's so helpful, and it just gives you all of that. The data just gives you what you need to keep your business running. So once again, I really enjoyed the videos in Excel for Marketers videos through HubSpot Academy. It was really helpful.